you ready?
I'm ready.
And 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. I don't know what I'm saying today.
Hey there, and welcome to Wandering Works for Us. We're Shelley and Beth, a married couple living in Portugal and exploring the world one story at a time. Come wander with us as we laugh through language fails, cultural surprises, and GPS disasters, and discover just how amazing this world can be.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our podcast, Wandering Works for Us. I'm Shelley.
And I'm Beth.
And we are back with part 2 of our great UK trip.
It was so much fun.
It was a lot of fun. We had a great time. We, of course, if you listen to the episode before this about London and Edinburgh, you would know that at the end of the tattoo, actually, you just know that once we left Edinburgh, we headed to Strathhaven. Strathhaven is on the west coast-ish, a little bit south of Glasgow.
Right.
And why did we stay in Strathhaven?
Because we have friends there.
Yay! One of the cool things about living abroad is you get to make friends that live abroad.
In other countries.
And so when you want to go visit that country, they're like, yeah, just come stay with us. And we're like, okay.
That's right.
We're not going to turn them down.
These are special friends, though.
Yes, they are.
Because our neighbor here in Portugal, 4 doors down, they are our good friends, Meg and Jeff. And they are Scottish. And Meg is from Strathhaven, and her whole family lives there still. And most of them have been here, and we had met most of them. Mm-hmm. We got to meet some of the husbands we hadn't met, or Baby Isla, who had been born since her mom had been here. We decided to house ourselves there, thanks to Margaret.
Thank you, Margaret.
Hi, Margaret.
Hey, Margaret.
She so generously offered to let us stay at her house the entire time, which was almost 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, it was supposed to be like 1 week, and then
it grew.
We stretched it out.
Yeah. And then from there, we went to Edinburgh a different day. We went to, which we've already told you about, we went to Glasgow for a day. We went up and spent the night in
Dunblane.
Thank you. I was blank. In Dumblane. But the whole time we were sort of headquartered, if you will, in Strathhaven. And it is the sweetest town. We loved it.
It is. It's such a cute little town, little Scottish town. And we thought we were going to a little Scottish town that was going to be calm while we were there. And what happened?
Their annual balloon festival happened.
That brings 30,000 people into their village.
Yes, which is way more than
more than they can handle, really.
That lives there.
You know.
But it was cool because we got to see the balloon festival. The balloons don't always go up at the balloon festival because sometimes the weather is terrible. But this year, the weather was good enough for them to go up 3 times. So that was very unusual. And we were lucky to be there.
We were. We arrived on Friday morning really, really early, 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And we had decided that Friday was our rest day. We weren't going to do anything that day. We were going to rest Beth's knees because they'd been hiking all over London and Edinburgh. And we needed a day off to just kind of gather our thoughts together. But of course, we land that day, the first day of the balloon festival. So we had to go down and see what was going on.
Of course we did. And we went to a pub.
Yes, to the Weaver's Pub.
Yes.
And had a beer or two and then walked through the park, and we got to see the balloons go up. And that was about it for that day.
Yes. Other than that,
that's all we could handle.
We slept late, of course.
Yes.
And it was great. And Margaret, cooked us the most delicious meals while we were there.
That was fantastic.
Yeah.
We didn't have to worry about eating out.
She was so
really
kind
makes
to us.
A trip. And it's funny because when we do traveling like this, I'm an advocate for staying in hotels because a lot of times Airbnbs number one, they charge you a lot of fees. But number two, they're causing some housing issues in certain places in Europe and in neighborhoods. And so we only do Airbnbs when we're on those rest days where we can't mentally get ourselves together to go out for another meal.
Yes, exactly.
So having a place to come back and stay and not have to think about what you're going to eat that night, or have already bought groceries or whatever and put them in a fridge, and you're able to just nibble and, you know, give your brain and your body some rest. It is a big deal.
It was such a gift to us.
It was. So while we were in Strathhaven, it's a little tiny town, y'all. They do have a castle.
They do. They have a castle.
They have a ruin. It's nice.
They have, of course, they have a castle. And the weather was delightful while we were there.
The whole time.
I tell you, this entire trip, the weather was just so fabulous. We were just very, very lucky. But it's big enough. It's a big enough town that they have some really interesting things. They have 3 or 4 good pubs. We visited 3.
Yes.
They have some really fun things that you can do there. Like on Saturday, we went to the Nether Lathame
I think they called it the Nether Farm.
Did they?
I think so, yeah.
The Nether Farm. And it's a small, well, I don't know how small it is, but it seems small, Scottish farm. And they have all of this automation, which we'll talk about in a minute. But one of the reasons that we went is because they have really great coffee and they have incredible ice cream.
We went for the ice cream, guys.
And you know, if you know me, you know that I'm going to go where the ice cream is. They have Jersey cows, and they always have some of the cows in one of the barns up close to where all the tables are and stuff where you can sit. You get to see them. And then they have all this automation. They have Polly, Molly, and Colin. Polly is called Polly the Pusher because they put their hay just outside of the big area where they are on the outside. They just kind of push it up to that. And so as they're eating it, they kind of flatten it out and it moves out away from them. Polly unplugs herself every so often, I don't know how often, and goes and pushes all the hay up against the edge of the barn again so that they can get it, which was fascinating. We saw her do it. And then they have Molly, the milker, and she's an automatic, or I guess there's more than one. They're automatic.
Like, she's busy if there's only one.
Yeah, there's automatic milking machines. And then there was Colin the cleaner. And Colin, bless him, has the worst job because his job is to go around the barn and to clean up poop, basically.
A lot of cow poop.
So that was really fun to think about the machinery. They have fun signs that you can read about it. And
I've never seen a fully automated farm like that before.
I haven't either.
And personally speaking, they do still need people because those cows weren't in the best shape. But that was because the majority of the people that work at the farm were down at the balloon festival.
Right. And
so, you know,
Meg or whoever else, Margaret, who's been up there a lot, she said there's usually a guy in the barn who's hosing off the cows and stuff.
Yeah.
And they're usually very clean. So I think all those people were down working the balloon festival. They were selling their ice cream. Yes. And then they have other automated things like the milk machine. So you buy a glass bottle and then you put it into the milk machine, vending machine. It fills it up with milk. You take it home and then you just bring your bottle back and you can fill it up again.
And this is real cream milk. This is not some light thing or 2% or 1%. No, this is real milk.
This one, and not pasteurized either.
Not pasteurized.
Straight from the cow,
I had
essentially.
it in my coffee almost every day. It was amazing.
If I lived there, I would keep them in business.
Probably, we'd be down there twice a week at least.
Yeah, because, oh my heavens.
Maybe more for the ice cream.
Yeah. I
That
know.
would not be good.
I know it would not be good. But it was really fun. They have it set up with all these picnic tables and signs and all of these things. And I noticed that there were a lot of cyclists there. Like they would, do 20 miles, stop there for a break and do the 20 miles home or whatever. So it's just a really fun place to go. And that's just, well, it's in Strathhaven, but it's kind of just on the outskirts.
Yeah, because there's a lot of farmland around Strathhaven.
There is.
And we were lucky enough that Margaret took us around in her car and just showed us the land and showed us around, well, just basically around Strathhaven, which there's not much there.
Yeah, but it was fun to just tour around in a car and kind of get the lay of the land, if you will.
It reminded me a lot of Ireland in a sense that it was a lot of fields with a lot of walls and a lot of sheep.
A lot of sheep. Yeah. Yeah, it was great.
But it was quite beautiful.
It was. I will definitely go back there. It was really fun getting to see Meg's family. That consists of Liz and Lil. Those are her two sisters. Mm-hmm. And then Ian, her brother. Mm-hmm. And then his wife, Fiona, and their daughters, Kirsten and Caitlin. Mm-hmm. And Kirsten has baby Isla that we mentioned earlier. And then Callum, who's, I think, 3.
Might be 2.5.
He might be.
Yeah.
Can't remember. It was really fun. And then Margaret that we stayed with is not technically family, but they've known each other so much. She's kind of like the other sister.
Yeah.
They were all at a retirement party for Liz, which happened to be while we were there. And so she had retired from the bank after I don't know how many years, but a very long time. Congratulations, Liz.
Yay, Liz.
And so there was a party at
the Strathaven.
The Strathaven.
Yes. Which is one of the bars in wherever we were. In Strathaven.
Strathaven.
The party was at the Strathaven.
It's in the name.
Where we were staying in Strathaven.
At Strathaven.
It's one of the most popular bars, I would think. And we were there on a Saturday night. We had the whole upstairs. She had rented that out for her party, and so, which was awesome because there was also a bar up there, so we didn't have to go up and down the stairs to get our drinks.
Yeah.
And there was dancing and just complete mayhem. It was awesome.
It was lots of fun. We were really lucky that she could have it while we were there. Of course, it wasn't really that we were there. It's also that her sister Meg was with us and was there.
That's probably why.
And
we would like to think that she planned it around us, but
yes.
I think, Meg
I think
had
it's
to
probably
be in
her
town.
sister.
Yeah.
And we didn't mention that while we were there, we were with Meg the entire time, our neighbor and close
we said we were
friend.
with her family, so.
Yeah, and we were with Meg. So it was a special trip.
It was. And that night, actually, I left during the party. Me and 3 other people snuck out. We didn't sneak out. They knew we were leaving. Because the Strathaven Balloon Festival glow up was happening.
What's a glow up?
Well, basically, all of these balloons that are out there in the field, there were about 8 of them, they inflate themselves with the gas. And then while they're up and it's dark outside, they play music, usually through a sound system. And with the music, they
flash on and off?
Well, they flash on and off. They use their gas to flash on and off in their balloons.
And they're tethered to the ground, right?
And they do it to the music. So it's kind of fun to watch. And so that was apparently a big deal. They don't always have the glow up. And this year, since the weather was so good, they did it. I'm going to say it's a neat thing to watch. But, oh, my gosh, it's got to be expensive with all the gas that they use. Because they went through like 8 songs. Easy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I bet it was.
No, not the entire song, but still. It was a long time.
Yeah.
I got video on the Instagram feed if you want to go check that out.
Maybe.
The YouTube. It's on YouTube, too. But that was a lot of fun. And then we walked all the way back up to the party to finish, partying.
Which was still going strong.
Of course it was. And the funny thing was, when I left, all the kids, all the grandkids and nieces, nephews, everybody were playing with the balloons and having a big time. And when I came back, they were gone. And the real party animals had shown up.
Yeah. You were not there for the switchover.
I missed the switchover. I was like, who are all these people?
That's so funny. It was a big, fun party. 2 of the pubs that we went to, we've covered then. Weaver's on our first day there. The Strathhaven, where
Yeah.
where the party was. And then we went what they refer to as the Drum.
The Drum.
And it was actually our favorite pub.
Yes.
And it's really called the Drumclog.
Yeah, Liz described it as the working man's pub.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say we went there on a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
It was a Saturday afternoon because we were leaving on Sunday. And there were so many people that came in. Liz and Meg were with us, and Liz knew everybody in that pub.
Oh.
Everybody that walked in knew her. We got to meet so many new people that last night I was like, why did we save this for last? We should have been here first.
And they had excellent Scottish ale.
They had great Scottish ale. I will say, you know, on behalf of Meg, that their wine prices were a little high.
Oh, yes.
But the beer prices were perfect.
Were perfect. Yes. Their wine price was a bit scandalous, especially coming from Portugal.
Yes.
Not if you were in the U.S.
No, it's about average for the U.S.
Yeah.
But yeah. So we really enjoyed that. We also enjoyed a afternoon tea with Lil,
We did.
which was so sweet of her.
It was. She had us over to her house, and we got to meet Safi, her dog.
Yeah.
It was so sweet. She had an afternoon tea with cakes and little sandwiches and meringues and tea, of course.
Say that as southern as possible. A meringue.
And tea, although none of us really drank tea until the very end because we were too busy drinking
The Prosecco.
the Prosecco.
We
Yeah.
had 3 bottles of Prosecco
Yeah.
that afternoon,
So-
I think.
But that was really fun.
Yes. So it was nice to spend time with family. It was nice to be in a small village. It was actually a perfect Scottish trip, I would say.
Yeah.
In that aspect.
It was. And then during that time, as I said before, we went a few places as well.
Yes.
And one of the places that we went is to a UNESCO World Heritage site, which Shelley loves checking off her UNESCO list.
Yes, I have an app on my phone of the UNESCO World Heritage sites of the world. And out of like 3,500 of them, I've gone to 32 maybe or something like that. And there will be so many that I will never get to.
Yes.
But, you know, it's a thing. I like a good list.
Yes.
But
So-
Meg had told us that there was this really cool UNESCO World Heritage site close to her village. You know, we should see if Margaret would take us down there. And of course I was like, yes, because I love history and I love things like that. And we ended up in New Lanark. Anybody heard of it?
I hadn't,
I hadn't heard of it either.
but now we have.
But it was a fascinating place with a fascinating ideas.
One of the founders, well, I'm not sure he was the founder. He's the one that took over at one point, maybe. It was an industrial. It was an
Bought it.
yeah. It was an industrial village, and it was cotton mills. They were making cotton.
Well, they weren't making cotton. They were textiles.
They were making textiles from cotton.
Yes.
He was very, very radical for his time, because you have to remember this was the early 1800s. He, for example, didn't believe that wives should be their husbands' essentially slaves, that they should be able to have their own autonomy and have a say in everything, and it be an equal partnership. And I think even the women of that time were a little scandalized.
Yeah.
Secretly going, yes, but a little scandalized.
So the idea was to make a village that you would take care of each other. So he set it up so that the workers there had free health care. They had a doctor anytime they needed to see them, and they didn't have to pay for it. He set up schools for the children there. He made sure that the working conditions were safe and that they only worked a certain amount of hours every day. They didn't work themselves to death while they were there. And it was set up as a community of cooperation. And they even had, a community store so that people can buy what they wanted, and they did it at fair prices. They didn't jack up the prices.
Which is
for
the
those
unusual
places.
part, because some of those villages like that, they basically worked themselves to death, and they had to buy, because their pay came in credits to the store,
Yeah.
and they had to buy things there, and stuff was twice the price, and they didn't have a choice. But
And then you ended up in debt to the county store, which is
But
messed
Robert
up,
Owen believed in fair prices and charging fair prices and equal rights. And he also ended child labor for under the age of 10, or 10 and under maybe, which sounds scandalous to us now that a 12-year-old might have been working. But then they were 6 and 7 working. And made sure everybody had the education. They even had eventually indoor plumbing, access to hot water.
Had working toilets in there.
Yeah, it was amazing. He was centuries,
At least a century.
if
Maybe
not
two,
two.
considering today it's still the same.
Ahead of his time.
But he tried to also do one of these in America, and it still didn't work out. His, newfangled ways of capitalism just couldn't keep up.
Yeah. He went to, where was it?
New Harmony in Illinois, I believe? Indiana.
Yeah.
So if you ever get that way, New Lanark is really cool. It's a neat little village. You can drive down to it, although what they want you to do is park in an upper place and walk down. And then you can get a little tour around. It was a neat little side place that nobody seemed to know about, and I'm glad we saw it.
Yeah, and they have things set up. It's not just empty buildings. The buildings are still there. They had areas that you could tour that were set up like the houses would have been set up then, and the pots and pans they would have used, and, all those kinds of things. So it was very interesting.
It was cool. The cool thing about staying in Strathhaven also is that we had access to public transportation that would take us into Glasgow without a problem. So, of course, we definitely wanted to see Glasgow and spend as much time as we could there. Unfortunately, we only spent a day.
Yeah, but we'll go back.
A day is not long enough to stay in Glasgow and get the full feel of everything going on there.
Not even close.
And the thing about Glasgow is we seem to like it a lot more than Edinburgh. And I think it's because it felt more like a real city. We weren't mobbed by tourists. Mm-hmm. Although we did take the hop-on, hop-off bus to kind of get a feel for the place and see some sights that we knew that we weren't probably going to see because we only had so much time. And we stopped at one site, and a load of, I'm going to go with American tourists got on the bus.
They were off a cruise ship.
They were off a cruise ship. So cruise ships do come into Glasgow, apparently. But it still did not feel, it was not as crowded. It didn't feel like people were trying to make money off of you. It felt like a real Scottish city.
It did. And except for on the tour bus, that hop on, hop off bus, most of the people you ran into, if you will, were Glaswegians. And
what a great name.
I know.
Glaswegians.
It felt, I don't know, more real.
Yeah.
And yet there's still so much to do and see there. It's a great town. We're very pro Glasgow.
Pro Glasgow. What's one of the reasons why we wanted to go to Glasgow?
Because when I was in design school, I fell in love with the designer Charles Rennie Mackintosh. And
everybody loved him.
And that is where he is from, where he established the school, where several important buildings, houses are that he designed. The Kelvingrove Museum has an exhibit on not just him, but the other people adjacent to him that were, including his wife and her sister, who were very important during that time. And so all we had really had time to do was to go to the Kelvingrove Museum and see that.
Which was an incredible museum that needs like 3 hours to spend in it. Not just the hour that we had.
Yeah. I'm not even sure you could. I mean, if you really want to do all of it, I'm not sure you can do it in 3 hours. The building itself, it's one of those museums where, at least I am, just as fascinated with the building that's housing it as the collections that are in it. And they have this incredible organ, which I still haven't looked up. I need to look it up and see what kind of organ it is. And it's in the open 3-story lobby. There's a brief organ concert at 1 o'clock every day, and we happened to be there, so we got to hear some of that. It has great sound. And the Mackintosh in adjacent, of course, was beautiful. And they also have a very famous Dali painting.
Salvador Dali.
Yes, Salvador
For
Dali.
those of you that, have no idea.
Yeah. Christ of St. John of the Cross. Is that right?
I looked it up.
Christ of St. John of the Cross.
It is incredible.
It's amazing to see.
The light on that thing, the way that body is drawn, it's very hard to describe, but it's worth seeing.
It is. And it was a bit of a departure from Dali. So much of what he did that was watches that are melting down the side of something.
Yeah, the scream.
Yeah,
thing,
and those kinds of things. But this was very different and very
but also still Dali, because
yeah,
it's Christ on the cross, but you're seeing it at a different angle. You're looking down, on his head and neck and the rest of his body, instead of, all the other ones that you see everywhere else where you're looking up at him.
Yeah.
And he's bleeding.
Yeah, and
he wasn't bleeding in there.
Yeah. It was very interesting to see that. And we certainly will go back to the Kelvingrove and see other things that they have on offer.
Yeah, I would highly recommend the Kelvingrove.
And
Plus
then
they have gardens.
Oh, yeah.
That you can walk through.
We
in
didn't
a park.
do any of that.
We didn't have time to do any of that because we had made reservations at the Willow Tea Room.
Which is also
we
Charles
had tea again.
Rennie Mackintosh. He designed those tea rooms for a woman that he designed several things for. And at one point, the Willow Tea Room took up 4 floors, I think. And each floor kind of had a different theme. So we were in the classic one, if you will, with the classic Rennie Mackintosh chairs, light fixtures.
How would you describe his design?
Well, they were Art Nouveau. Technically, they are classified Art Nouveau. A lot of his things are very straight lines, very organic, as a lot of Art Nouveau is.
I think he was probably king of that movement at one point.
Look him up. So we got to go to the Willow Tea Room. Oh, what I was going to tell you is the floor we were on was the very classic floor.
Yes.
And then the one above it was called the
Chinese room?
The Chinese room, yes. And it was still very Mackintosh looking, but it had a very Asian kind of influence to it. And I don't know what the other floor was. It doesn't exist anymore. But.
Yeah, I have no idea.
So that was fun, and we had a good tea.
We did. It was a lovely tea.
Yeah, I had some good haggis.
You had my haggis.
I did, because Shelley doesn't like it.
Because I ordered the savory tea because I wanted the cheese scone.
Uh-huh.
Scone. Excuse me. The cheese scone. I took a bite of the haggis and I was like, you can eat the rest of this if you like.
Yes, so I did. It was good. And then, of course, to round out our day in Glasgow, well, first of all, we were meeting another friend.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Maria.
Hi, Maria.
If you're listening. We met up with her at a great pub, yet another pub that
Meg recommended.
That Meg recommended. I mean, Meg was with us. And it's called the Pot Still. And they have maybe more whiskeys than I've ever seen in one place.
I would call them definitely a whiskey bar.
Yeah.
I was hoping for ale, but they are totally into whiskey.
Yeah. It was definitely a whiskey bar. And it's old. It's one of the oldest pubs there. Meg and I shared a whiskey tasting of 6 whiskeys, which means we weren't falling down drunk because we...
Because you shared it.
We were just slightly sauced.
We did have to walk back to the bus.
Yeah,
so,
we did. We did. That was really fun.
That's a neat way to do a whiskey tasting, though, is to go into a whiskey bar. And instead of, because a lot of the whiskey tasting we end up doing, we go to a particular distillery and we're tasting just their whiskey.
That's right.
You had an opportunity to taste 6 different whiskeys from 6 different distilleries in 6 different parts of Scotland.
I think maybe 2 were from the same area, but they were from different areas, at least different towns, and some of them totally different geographical areas. They were very different.
Yeah.
There was one that was so mild that I wasn't sure it was a whiskey. And then there were some
Wow.
that,
Okay.
there were a couple that put hair on your chest. Those are my favorite.
Of course. Go for the strong ones.
Yeah. So that was really fun.
That was a lovely afternoon. What did you like most about Glasgow?
I think the feel of it.
Mm-hmm.
It was friendly. It was interesting. They have incredible. When I go back, there's a street mural walk you can do.
Oh,
They
yeah,
have a
we need
little
to do
route that
yeah.
you can do. I want to do that. I also want to see more Mackintosh because there's a gorgeous house to see. There's a church he did there. There's lots of other things. It felt like the kind of city that if I were going to live in a city, I could live there.
Yeah. I will say this fun part that I remember about Glasgow, we were coming out of the Kelvingrove and Beth needed the rail to go down the stairs on her knees. And there was a biker that had stopped to take a break and he was sitting on the edge of the steps. And I was trying to very politely ask him to move to the left or to the right so that she could come down. And when he finally understood what I was asking, he turned around and said, well, here in Glasgow, we just say, move your arse.
Yeah. He was great. We had a nice
And
conversation.
I was like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
In that case, move your arse.
Yeah. That was fun.
For the last part of our trip, we took an overnight trip into Dumblane. And I'm not sure that we would have put this on our list of things to do on this trip, except for we, of course, have friends that live in Dunblane.
We do. David and Benita.
Hey, David and Benita. And they wanted us to come visit while we were in Scotland. And that meant trucking back kind of across the country. But the country's small enough that it was just an hour on a bus from Glasgow. So it was no problem to go see them. And they were going to put us up for the night and show us around. That turned out to be one of the coolest parts of this trip.
It did. We loved that area.
We did. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, and we didn't even scratch the surface. We'll be
Not
going back.
Even. There was so much more I wanted to see while we were there. But we only had basically a day and a half before we had to catch a bus and get back. And so David was sweet enough to show us around his cute little village of Dumblane.
Yes.
Which actually has a lot to see.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough.
Weirdly enough. And we should say that Dumblane is famous for two reasons. Maybe those of you in the United States have heard about it. One is tragic. It is where a famous school shooting took
I think if the
place.
United States had heard about it, they would have, taken a lesson from them, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, I can't remember how many years ago it was.
It was in 1996.
Oh, 1996.
In 1996, there was a school shooting.
And I can't remember.
I don't know how many died.
But it was the worst tragedy in Scotland, school tragedy in Scotland, maybe to date.
Ever.
Yeah.
I'm going to say ever because you know why? Because a year later, they made it illegal for people to have personal handguns that were larger caliber than a .22.
Yes.
They passed an actual gun law.
Yes.
That, helps. And yes, it's one of the strictest gun laws in the world. But you know how many school shootings they've had since then?
Zero.
So
Yes.
I'm going to get off my soapbox now.
Yes. But a lot of people know it because of that. And also the very talented Andy Murray. In case you don't know, he was a men's tennis player.
Professional men's tennis.
He's retired now,
Yeah.
but he is from Dumblane.
Won like Wimbledon and the U.S. Open.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
he was really good at what he did.
Yeah, he was number one in the world for a time. His mother still lives there, or is it his grandmother?
I have no idea.
I think his family's still there. So Dumblane is also kind of famous for Andy Murray. And in fact, one of the things we saw while we were there, he bought an historic hotel, which was already a hotel, but it is one of those hotels that it's small. It's like a boutique hotel. It
looks like a country manor house.
It does. It's stone. It has hundreds of acres that go with it. When you go there, you can actually do falconry, and you can go out and with a guide, and she or he will teach you how to get the owl or whatever they're using at the time. We saw an owl.
Now, granted, we were just driving by.
We
just
were.
popped in to see the building. We didn't even go inside because we were chickens.
Well, our original idea was can we just pop in and have a coffee, but
oh, they don't just do coffee.
they don't just do that. So anyway, we did. David drove us through, and we got to see it, and it is gorgeous. If I win the lottery, we might go stay there.
Maybe so, yeah. But while we were there, he showed us around his village of Dumblane, and we started with the cathedral. Of course we did. It's a church. But it's a massive building, but gosh, it's beautiful. And it's a medieval church. So, now I like it because it's medieval.
Mm-hmm.
But it was built during the 12th and 13th century, and then it kind of went into ruin in the 16th century. And somewhere around the late 1800s, somebody finally decided to start rebuilding it and put a roof on it. And now it's a functional Presbyterian church in town.
Yes, it is.
And it's beautiful.
Oh, it's so pretty.
And it has so much history in it, too.
Mm-hmm. Tell us about the sisters.
Oh, the Drummond sisters. I love this story. So when you're walking through a church and it has a plaque on the bottom where it's like, these 3 sisters who were poisoned were buried here. And I was like, oh, there's a story there. So I'll look it up. But apparently the oldest sister, Margaret Drummond, was the mistress of James IV of Scotland, the King James IV of Scotland. And he wanted to marry her because, of course, mistress. But at the same time, he was set to marry Margaret Tudor. Margaret Tudor was the daughter of Henry VII in England. And that marriage would unite Scotland and England. But of course, his marriage to, Margaret Drummond would just, be for love. Why do people do that anyway? So one day, Margaret and her sisters sit down to have breakfast, and they all mysteriously die of poisoning.
Yes.
So guess who James ends up marrying? Margaret Tudor.
Yes, the English woman.
Dun, dun, dun. And so the 3 sisters are buried in the cathedral.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a very cool story.
It was.
And now you know it. Because it's kind of funny, people that live in Dumblane don't know this story.
Yeah, I know.
Anywho.
So the cathedral was beautiful. There's a cemetery that goes with it, of course, that's centuries old. We highly recommend you go and check it out if you're in Dumblane. And then we went to maybe Shelley's favorite place in the whole trip.
Woo-hoo. The Leighton Library.
Yes.
Leighton Library is the oldest purpose-built library in Scotland. I can't remember his first name, but whoever he was, Leighton, when he had all of these books, he left them to the city of Dumblane and even left like £100 to build a building to put them in, which of course wasn't enough to build the building. But anyway.
It was a lot then.
It was a lot.
But it wasn't enough.
But those books are housed at that building. It is free for you to go visit. They do ask for a donation, and they have books back to the, 1300s.
Yeah.
And I got to they'll let you hold the books. They just ask you, would you like to see one of these books? And you say, yes, I want you. And you
of course, they're
random books.
Supervising you, but
yes, of course they are. But they're not just going to hand it to you unless you walk out.
But
That's
it's
ridiculous.
very unusual because most libraries that have books that are that old, you can't even breathe on them.
No.
And so it was very unusual. And in fact, this library started as a lending library. When it was first started, you could actually come and take books from it. And they have the records of who read what in the town.
That's
and
pretty cool.
all that. It's really cool. And the 2 volunteers that were there were just delightful. And so Shelley said you wanted to see.
I saw a Thomas Paine, well, basically all of his works is, Thomas Paine wrote in pamphlets. So he didn't actually publish this as a book. So it was put together and binded as a book, but it was from 1799, I think. If I got that right, I'm not
So
certain.
it had the rights of man.
So it had Rights of Man and Common Sense in it. These are famous publications basically calling for American Revolution.
Yeah.
And so it was very treasonous stuff, but because, it's very expensive to print things during that period of time, the people that are reading them weren't the ones that he really needed people reading his stuff.
Yeah.
Now we study it. But I thought it was so incredible that I got to hold something that old and look through it.
And touch it.
Yeah,
Actually
I got
turn
to
the
touch
pages. And
I got to pick it up out of the thing, and then he took it over to like this little plastic pillow sort of thing and set it down, and I got to turn the pages and hold the book and just, I don't know, I love books. And so that was it was really neat to actually hold something that old, and not only hold something that old, but something that I love, that I actually have a copy of on my bookshelf here.
it was truly amazing.
Yes, that was so cool.
They also had this really cool atlas that had reproductions of maps from 1776, kind of an important year in the United States. And it was, each page was a different state or territory, and it folded out, so they were huge. And so we looked at North Carolina, and it was really interesting. I'm not sure I'd ever really looked at a map from 1776 of North Carolina. New Garden Meeting House was on there. Shout out to the Quakers. It showed like Salem, but not Winston, right?
No, because that wasn't a thing then.
Yeah, so it was just Salem there.
And Bethabara and Bethania, all of that in the area that I used to live in. And of course, New Bern was there because that was one of the capitals of North Carolina.
Yeah. And New Garden was there along with, that's where New Garden Meeting House was, but not
the Quakers settled.
Yeah, but not Greensboro. That wasn't on
wasn't there yet.
So it was really interesting to look at it.
And yet Guilford County wasn't a county then because, Guilford County was named after one of the generals in the Revolutionary War, and that hadn't happened. So,
yeah.
Then we went to
the Dunblane Museum,
which was cute.
It was really small.
All of these are on the same street, in a triangle.
A little triangle, yeah. It was really small, but it was really cool. It was one of those things that I love to go to when we're traveling. It's not some big museum with tons of contributors and all this. It's this small
local thing.
Yeah. Like they had an Andy Murray exhibit in one area. But it's the history
Viking artifacts
of the town. And of course, these towns, when you're somewhere like a town in Scotland, are old. And so, as she said, they had Viking artifacts that had been found at or near the town. They had all kinds of things. It was really fun to look at, I thought. They had a sweet little gift shop. We enjoyed it.
And then we ended our Dumblane tour
Wait for it.
The pub.
At a pub.
The Tappit Hen.
Yeah.
Which is apparently the pub in Dunblane.
Yeah.
Is it the only pub?
I'm not sure it's the only one.
Oh, it's most popular, probably.
It's certainly one of the most popular.
And they had some great ales in
there.
And
David goes there quite often.
Yeah,
so.
I bet Thursdays and Saturdays are the hot days.
Yeah, so we ended up at the Tappit Hen drinking ale, and it was excellent.
Then the next day, we asked David to take us out to, I wanted to see Doune Castle. And of course, I wanted to see Doune Castle because I knew Outlander had been filmed there. I knew that Monty Python had been filmed there. And I just recently learned that the pilot for Game of Thrones had been filmed there also.
And now also Blood of My Blood.
Oh,
the
yes,
prequel that's on now.
We've been watching that. It's pretty good.
To Outlander.
Yeah. So I knew that's where I wanted to go. And it was funny when we finally pulled up to it. Beth was like, I thought we were just looking at a ruin.
Yeah, I thought we were going to see kind of a ruin thing, but no.
No, Doune Castle is set up as a tourist deal now.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And as well they should. And they celebrate basically what has been filmed there, but they also tell you the history.
Yes. Yes.
You got to learn that the Duke of Albany was who owned the castle, and a little bit of history that goes along with him, because he basically kind of ruled Scotland for a little while. He was the youngest son of Robert II, I think.
King Robert II.
And so,
It was even
while they
used-
were kind of in trouble, he sort of ruled Scotland. So there's, you know, there's a lot of things that went on there.
It was even used as a prison during the Jacobite
Rebellion.
Yeah.
So there's some real history going on there, but anybody that watches Outlander would recognize Doune Castle as Castle Leoch.
Yes. I thought that was Leoch.
Well, I'm sorry, my Scottish accent is just not
Oh,
good.
okay.
Leoch.
Leoch. And how cool is it that Monty Python and the Holy Grail was done there?
That was awesome.
And so, you know, when the French guy is taunting them from the top, what does he say?
Which time?
You
English pig dog.
You English pig dog. Something, and your father smells of elderberry.
Your mother was a hamster, and your father smelled of elderberries.
Yes. So all of that, well, the whole movie, the whole film was done there.
Not the whole film, no, but
it wasn't?
But most of it. Well,
Yeah.
definitely the castle scenes.
Was it Doune Castle?
In the castle in Camelot.
And so now you pay an entrance fee and you actually get to go through. They've done a really good job of signage and telling you the rooms as you're going through them and what it all is.
Plus you
and
have
there
a
was an
guided
audio
tour.
guide.
Yeah,
there was
you have an audio guide
That's
that
right.
goes
We
with
had an
it.
audio thing.
So yeah, we were listening, and not only was it just a general audio guide of what's going on, there were things that branched off into talking about the Monty Python filming.
Yeah.
And then there was Outlander. Sam Heughan actually did some narration for that too.
And you can buy coconuts in the
and
gift
you can
shop.
buy coconuts. Which is kind of cute. I did not do that. We did not buy the coconuts.
We didn't buy coconuts, but
I think they will actually go get you a pair too, so you can do your own filming out
they
there.
will. So you can, pretend out there in the courtyard. Yeah.
And who doesn't want to do that?
Yeah. So that was that.
'Cause I had kind of dragged Benita and Meg along with us, and so
And then they, I think,
I
ended
think
up
they
really
enjoyed
enjoying it. Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
I didn't want to leave them too long because I could have spent hours, messing around that castle.
That was really fun. So we recommend that as a little
Go
side
to
trip.
Doune Castle,
Yeah, that was fun. And then there is a charming town called Bridge of Allen that is it's adjacent to Dumblane. It's right next to Dumblane.
It's a little bit southeast.
And it's beautiful. It's another charming little village. And we went and had lunch there afterwards.
We did.
And
At Allen Water Cafe.
yes, thank you. And we had fish and chips because, believe it or not, we hadn't had fish and chips yet.
Weirdly enough.
And we were about to leave.
Yeah.
So, but they had, Shelley, tell them what you got. Your fish and chips.
They had breaded fish and chips.
Yes.
Which is something I haven't seen very much anywhere. Most of the time it's battered in some
which
sort of
they
beer.
also had.
Yeah, and that's what most people eat. But from North Carolina, when we eat fried fish, it's always breaded. And I was very excited about having breaded fish.
And they had good ice cream.
I think so.
Yeah.
Beth, of course, had ice cream.
Yeah.
But that's a cute village that I would like to spend a little bit more time in. We didn't have a great deal of time after the castle. We needed to get back. We were going to catch a bus, and so.
And there's two other areas. If we had more time, and we will definitely do, Falkirk is right there, which has the famous Kelpie horses sculptures.
Stirling
with Stirling
Castle.
Castle. And then also in Falkirk is the Falkirk Wheel, which is the really cool engineering, how they get boats through the lock. So
I would have loved to have seen that.
I know. So there is a lot to do in that little area of Scotland, and we will definitely go back there and do more.
Definitely go back.
Yeah, because our favorite places are not the big cities.
No.
Even though we like going to them, we like seeing the stuff. But really, our favorite places are the smaller towns.
Little things that people don't tell you about.
Yeah.
Because I never would have known any of that about Dunblane hadn't, David said, let's go see this.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all in all.
Pro tip, make friends.
Yeah. All in all, we had the best trip. It was 2 weeks total.
Yes.
And we were exhausted when we got back.
Yes, it took a week to recover from all this. To do the laundry, too.
Yeah, and I came back with a cold, as I do. It was just the best trip. It's one of our favorite trips ever that we've done.
It was, and I think
Yeah.
it's because we were able to meet friends along the way. We were able to hang out with some people that we knew, and to visit smaller places that were, normally probably wouldn't have ever gone to or would have gone to more in the future after we visit all the big places. And we got to hit some second tier stuff.
Yes, we did.
That we
and because we were gone for 2 weeks, we had some time to rest.
Yes. And that is definitely something we highly recommend, especially if you're going on a big trip. A lot of people that come from America over here want to do so much in the week because they have the idea that they'll never come back.
Right.
I'm going to go ahead and say, make the idea that you are going to come back at some point.
Yes, because even if you never do, you are going to enjoy that one trip so much more.
And you're going to remember more of it.
You're going to remember more.
It's not going to go by in a flash.
Yeah, it's not going to just be a blur. And it will just be more meaningful.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, what are we doing next? We have no plans.
Yes, we do.
What, we do have plans?
Yes, we have plans, says the trip planner over here.
I'm just along for the ride.
Uh-huh. I tell Shelley, I say, I've got your passport. Follow me.
Come with me. Where are we going?
I tell her to, when to
What
show
week
up.
is this?
But next month, it is our anniversary.
That's right.
And we are going back to the Douro Valley.
Yes. To do some more research, of course.
Yeah, of course. In northern Portugal, we are going to go to 2 vineyards that we haven't been to. We're going to eat at a highly recommended restaurant, which is actually at a 3rd vineyard. And we're going to relax a little.
That sounds
Maybe.
wonderful. Our anniversary trip.
I know.
Yay.
So we're looking forward to that. And before that, though, my son's coming to see us.
Hey, Eli.
Hey, Eli. At the end, it's basically the first week of October.
Mm-hmm.
And then hopefully we've got a couple of trips that are happening early next year.
Well, we'll see, because Beth needs to have some surgery on her knees
Yes,
first.
so we're not totally committing to those yet. But
No. But we got some American friends that are talking about coming over to the continent. So, of course, we need to meet up with them.
of course,
And so we'll let you know.
we will.
Stay tuned.
Well,
Keep in touch.
And there's always our day trips that we take here in Portugal.
Oh, of course.
and
always.
we just did a good one.
We did to Santa Cruz.
Yeah,
we'll have to
so-
tell you about that later.
Well, maybe after we take another day trip, we'll put both of those together.
Yeah, we'll put them
and
on
do
a
another
list for you.
podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, I guess that's it for today. So I will bid you a lovely boa tarde.
Boa tarde.
Boa tarde.
Thanks for wandering with us. If you had a laugh, learned something new, or just enjoyed the ride, be sure to follow us on all of our social media at Facebook, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, YouTube, and I think that's it. Check out our website at www.forus, that's www.forus.com, and drop us a line at our email address at wandering@www.forus.com. We'd love to hear from you, your stories, questions, or favorite travel fails. Until next time, keep exploring, keep laughing, and remember, wandering works for us, and it just might work for you too.